If I were injured like that, I think I would freak out.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, microphones on. Ready to go. It is 6:37 on November 4th. This is a regular meeting of the Arlington City Council. I'm Rich Nagel, Mayor, and I will be presiding at the meeting this evening. I will call the meeting to order, and would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome everyone. Roll call of the council members. Councilmember Cowell.
Here.
Councilmember Gilman.
Here.
Councilmember Batcher.
Here.
Councilmember Heddlestead.
Here.
And mental block.
Morgan.
Morgan, there we go.
Here.
It's gonna take a while. No, it won't take a while. Thank you. Also at the head table here is, on my left, is City Administrator Melvin. In the audience this evening, Matt Nelson, Officer Halasik, thank you. Amy Berger, Lisa Pasvogel, and representing the Enterprise, Kurt Mink. Welcome, everyone. Moving down to item 3, the agenda. Are there any changes in the agenda?
Yes, there are.
There are. Oh, yes, I've got the official copy. Item B, October 30th, under consent agenda. October 30th minutes, those will be scratched, dealt with at a future meeting. And announcements under item 6, both items G and H will be scratched, or have been added. Have been added, I'm sorry, have been added. Gotta get rid of that one. Under item 7, item A, our liaison committee request has been added, and that's it. Any other changes in the agenda? Hearing none, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Batcher, second by Councilmember Morgan to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Move on to item 4, the consent agenda. This evening consists of 2 items. Item A, October 28th special council meeting minutes. And then item C moved up to item B, approval of the bills.
Motion to approve consent agenda. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Cowell, second by Councilmember Hattlestead to approve the consent agenda as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item 5, addressing the council. Is there anyone here who wishes to address the council this evening? Lisa Pasvogel. Okay. Just make sure that microphone is on.
The green light's on.
Okay.
Push it. There you go.
Oh, now it's on. Lisa Pasvogel, Arlington. First, just wanted to give you an update that I've been sleeping very well, with the plant not running at night. But at the same time, letting you know that as far as the noise we are hearing during the day, that has not changed at all. So I know they haven't fixed anything or added anything. Just wanted all of you to know that, but it's wonderful at night.
Okay.
And then a couple things I wanted to bring up. Back in August, I had talked about the smell and odor issues in California and Oregon regarding the hemp fields processing, that kind of thing. So it was actually, there were 17 states that went against the federal law per se. It made their own type of, they got through a loophole where they could actually grow hemp. It was supposed to be under research purposes, but Oregon and California were 2 of those states. So they technically were growing and processing before the federal law took place, which was actually December 2018. So this year, 2019, would have been the first year that these grows were technically federally legal in whatever states agreed with that. So when I talked in August about California and Oregon, those were the only complaints at that time that I could find. Now we're in the first year of the grow, which the smell is anywhere from July to October. And there's a lot of states having issues with the smell, either from greenhouses or the field grows or the processing. North Kingstown, Rhode Island, they're complaining of the skunk-like odor permeating houses, cars. Residents smell it a quarter-mile away. It's even an online petition asking that state and local leaders regulate where it can be grown. Medford, Oregon, that's the one I had talked about before, but this time I actually talked to the media person at the school district office who told me that smell was coming from greenhouses in the school. One school is a quarter-mile away and one's a half a mile away, and they still complain that the whole town stinks and the school stinks. This runs into New York. There's a couple places in New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia. All these states are having these same issues where the hemp is allowed to grow near residential areas. One of the places actually doesn't have a grow. They only have the warehouse and the processing plant, and it's basically across the street where they do it from residential houses, somewhat where the Northland building would kind of coincide with houses across the street. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Also, I guess I find it a little bit frustrating that things are getting pushed through the EDA. I know Tom went on a visit. I wasn't at the EDA meeting. I don't want to speak about what was said at the EDA meeting because I wasn't there. I just find it strange that when I have talked to another person on the EDA, they don't know a lot of what's going on. I mean, whether it's planning and zoning, EDA, you guys, whatever, to do the research a little bit, it's so easy to just Google. Like, I found all this information on the federal laws and all this, and I just Googled hemp odor complaints, hemp stink. All the stuff just pops up. It's not that hard to do, and it just seems like not all, there's quite a few people on these committees that I don't know if they're just there to get paid, but then they listen to, let's say, one person saying, well, I think we should go forward with this. Okay, yep, I agree, I vote yes, without doing any research on it at all. So, just my 2 cents on that.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Jimmy Berger, Arlington. I was at the EDA meeting, as most of you know. Janelle and I, Kellerman, my neighbor, were at the EDA meeting, and we had a discussion last night. I thought she was going to be here tonight too, but she must have ran late from work. Our concern and our frustration was we walked into the meeting as Doc Bergerson was trying to amend things from a contract that I had gotten from Pat, and so fast that none of us could even keep up with what was being changed in that agenda or that contract that you were making with hemp having to go in. So we couldn't even keep up with it to understand what the new thing was. So I don't know if Pat, if we have to request that from you again to see what the new purchase agreement is like, because I know there was several changes, including the name. I know Lisa's been researching it, and if they're going to put the name Minnesota on it, everything she's looked through, they don't even have a license to grow here yet. Just again, reiterating what Lisa said, it looks like there's a lot of people just nodding their heads and going along with whatever's being said, and I don't want to be here every week because of that greenhouse. Now that we've got Northland playing ball with us and everything is a lot better. I mean, we are sleeping very well in my house right now, and I don't want to go in and be here for that same reason again. We already have that noise and the smell issue, and that smell issue, we're not even addressing that as a council yet, from the potato smell from Northland. And then you're going to bring in something else that possibly, I'm saying possibly because I wasn't there, I didn't go down with you guys to Waseca. I don't get involved in those things. But if I'm going to have that on top of the rotten potato smell, I'm going to have a skunk smell. Like I was told at the meetings October, November, and December. That's pretty much going to be year round. We're going to have a noise and a smell in our houses. And I just hope that you guys take a very strong, hard look at that before we just get a nod, like what seemed to be what the EDA did the other day. It seemed like there were some people that agreed and some people that didn't agree. Some people weren't even involved in the discussion. Some people just nodded. They didn't even do the research. And it's so easy for Lisa and I are on our phones Googling this stuff, and it's out there. if the complaints are out there, and I don't wanna see Arlington be in the same mess we are with hemp heaven that we're in with Northland right now. So that's just my concern, and I know it, Janelle and Nate were gonna be here today too, but they must not got off work, and they're in the same ballpark. Just very frustrated with, if we're gonna get a nod on this too, and we don't even have that taken care of yet, so. And the other part I read was, in your purchase agreement, that doesn't have to be signed till December 31st, so why are we moving so fast? Instead of actually really taking some time to look into what's online, what's out there, before we sign this contract with them. Because what I read that I got from Pat was December 31st, they wanted that contract signed for it, and now all of a sudden we're gonna push it through in a couple weeks, and I just think there needs to be a little more research done, so.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak to the council? Hearing none, we'll move on to announcements.
The first announcement that we have is for the upcoming fall care event, which is scheduled for Thursday, November 7th at 2 and 6 o'clock, right here at the Arlington Community Center. They will have Robin Thompson, a senior outreach specialist with the Minnesota River Area Agency on Aging, will be giving a presentation, What's New in Medicare for 2020. So again, November 7th at 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock. There is no cost associated with attending. Second item is just a reminder that the Arlington city offices will be closed on Monday, November 11th in observance of Veterans Day holiday. The third announcement is that the Arlington Lions Club on November 21st at 7 p.m. at the Arlington Community Center here will be having Brett Nelson, who is a Meeker McLeod Sibley Community Health Services staff person, will be presenting vaping. How much do you know? Again, that'll be at 7 o'clock on November 21st here at the Arlington Community Center. Fourth item is a reminder that city offices will be closed on Thursday, November 28th and Friday, November 29th in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday. The City of Arlington will be conducting its annual Truth and Taxation meeting on December 2nd. That'll be here in the council chambers at 6 p.m. Next announcement, Arla Dazzle is being scheduled for Saturday, December 7th. Raffle tickets as well as hats can be purchased at City Hall. If you'd like more information on the festivities planned throughout the day, please visit http://arladazzle.com. Two exciting new things that are coming is Megan Cooley-Peterson will be coming to the Arlington Library. She will be visiting, individuals will have an opportunity to visit with the author on Saturday, November 16th at 2 p.m. again at the Arlington Public Library. Last but not least is the announcement from the Salvation Army that they are looking for bell ringers. If you are interested, please contact Stacy at area code 507-381-7544 or reach out to her at stacyhoekst@gmail.com, and that is spelled STACYHOECHST@gmail.com. That's it for the announcements.
Okay, any questions on the announcements? Move on to communications.
First item, we'd like to invite Leah Prawl up to the front to chat a little bit about the upcoming Arla Dazzle festivities. So,
Welcome, Leah.
Hi. I think so. Pretty much, I'm here. Mike's son wasn't able to come tonight. He's in the field, and I'm kind of here mostly on his behalf. That I think we're going to be requesting the same road closures and that sort of thing as the last few years. I think, Pat, did you include everything in the packet so everyone can kind of look at that?
there should be a handout. Is it not?
So nothing has changed.
Okay, I apologize. I'll get that out to everyone.
Okay. But essentially, we're looking for the same things as the past few
And
years.
There's no races here, right?
there's no.
So that's
So that, yeah,
less,
so
a little
it'll
bit
be a
less.
little bit, it won't be quite that early that the roads will need to be closed. But stuff does start at 1, so, yeah.
And I did receive, I did check in with Kirby, John Zaski, the fire chief, and police chief, John Pedersen, and they all are planning to help out with the event. So I think,
And yeah, we would definitely
Coordinate
want
that.
as many of the police officers, if not all of them, on duty that day. I
Yep.
don't know if that's something John was gonna communicate, probably.
I believe that he does have everybody helping out that day, correct, Bailey?
Okay, so, other than that, I think that's about it. Nothing really new. Again, the waiving, or the waiver of prohibition for public consumption. What else? They have this whole list, right?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
I'll make sure that they get a copy of the entire list that
So I
we've had
guess
for
essentially we're
previous
just
years.
asking for an approval of this list, I guess, or I don't know how you,
Can
You
I
know,
on the next,
It certainly can, otherwise I think in the past what we've done is all departments have just agreed to help out. There hasn't been, that I recall, a formal.
well, I think we
I think
had like some sort of
Yeah,
agreeing to
resolution.
close streets and stuff in case we have any issues
Okay.
with residents and that sort of thing.
And we can certainly have that at the
And
next.
same with the
Next council
prohibition
meeting.
thing, that there was.
Right.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
waive the
that should, yeah, we
prohibition.
should be on record as
So,
approving that.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
and the only other new things that to be considering is we're gonna be utilizing the school much more this year. So there'll definitely be, I don't think any streets will have to, any additional streets or anything, but they'll definitely be coming from Main Street to the, auditorium and then down, cause we'll have movies throughout the day. So, and then Santa Day will be at the school. And all the parking lot stuff I think is in here too, right? So making sure we have access to, that was kind of one of the other big things, is making sure that the parking lots are closed for those days, the Main Street ones. To use for fish camp and for, yeah, oh yeah, this is on there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
put that on the next agenda for?
Yep, that will go on the next agenda.
do I need to come back for the next one or no?
No.
Okay,
No.
any questions or anything for me?
No?
As far as the assistance, is that referring to just the city, or is that from people just volunteering?
No, I closed out of it. I think what we were referring to is, yeah, so city assistance from Kirby and his department or whatever, for Friday for Shirley, and then same with the police department meeting, availability and cooperation for Friday setup, and then obviously Saturday as well.
I remember reading an email from Chief John, and he had it pretty much laid out how,
Yeah.
what he's going to do, and same as other years. And
Right.
ham radio operators are involved again, so
They are?
they
Yes.
are.
Oh, 'cause
I think
they must
there was the
pay
only
some-
complaint is they would have they had a hard time getting enough people together for a setup on Friday.
So we're hoping that that Kirby can help a little bit more with some of
Okay,
that, but I
okay.
think because we're not doing the fun run, that will
That'll eliminate some of the
eliminate
things.
some of that setup need, that they'll probably be able to do most of it Saturday morning, so.
And I think Kirby is playing, his band is playing at the Arlington House on
Yeah,
Saturday, so I think he's,
in the afternoon, I believe it is, like
Correct,
2
in
to
the
3 or
afternoon,
something like
so-
that. Yeah.
he'll be doing
Yeah.
what he can to help out, but he
Yeah.
does have some plans the day of, so.
Okay, any questions for Leah? All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Looking forward to another successful event.
Yes, hopefully better weather too.
Let's pray,
Yeah.
let's pray for good weather, and it will be good.
Exactly, thank you, bye.
Okay. Item B.
Next item is just information. We received a notice from Civic County alerting the city to the fact that there are several public hearings being held. The only one that I believe really has any relevance to the city of Arlington is the variance, which is being requested by Sean Fosness to reduce the minimum front yard setback requirement for his property, which is located at 39606 230th Street, Arlington. This is located right up there on the northeast side of town, on the corner there as you turn on the 230th Street.
Directly across
So-
from Pilot Transfer,
Correct, on the north side.
north side of
North side.
County Road.
Hoggamiller's old building,
Pardon?
where Hoggamiller's
Yeah.
used to be?
Yep, that property. Mm-hmm.
So, I did talk with Ross, and he said that he didn't feel that there, from the city's perspective, there were any objections to that. So, unless I hear differently from you this evening, won't plan on sharing any input on that public hearing. The next item that I'd like to share with you is communication from McGuire Iron Incorporated. They had done an inspection on the water tower. I did have a chance to talk with Lee Ortloff about this, and he said that we're continuing to monitor the tower. The one thing that you will see based on the report that we are kind of dinged on or questioned about is the it's on the interior dry rise that there's heavy staining apparent. I talked a little bit with Lee about that, and he said that to him that's not a really big concern. He says that he'll continue to monitor that, and should there be any issue, he would certainly bring it up. But talking with him, we both shared kind of a hope that we could start setting aside some money for eventually we will end up cleaning the tower. So the thought that some money could be set aside each year until that date does come where we need to wash the bottom. You can see that there is some mildew and some different things growing on the bottom. What they have done in the past is they send a machine up the side, and it basically power washes the water tower. And Lee has done a very good job for us in the past, and that we have sometimes, been quoted prices of $300,000. He was able to do it previously for less than $200,000 because of some connections that he has. So we'll continue to monitor that, but otherwise everything seems to be doing well with the water tower.
Is that an inspection that McGuire did free of charge, or did we hoping to get the business when we do give business to someone?
I think it's an annual. I'm not sure how much. I think we are in an agreement with them for multiple years to have them come out for a fee, and
Okay.
they do go through and inspect it and assess it. So I will find out what that cost is and email the council what that cost is. The next item is your people services report. There's nothing real significant or out of the ordinary to make you aware of. I will let you know that I have talked with them about identifying on this report that each month they are going out to the fairgrounds and just checking the caps out there. I don't see it on here this time, but they will, starting in October, they will be putting that on their list. If you take a look back at the charts, as you can see for September, our average daily water pumped was pretty consistent with what it was in 2018. And as you take a look at the average daily wastewater pumped, 2019 was a bit quite a bit higher than where we were in 2018, which is simply a reflection of probably the rainfall that has occurred, which would cause more water to get into our wastewater system.
Can we also have them put on the list, the, return that we're getting from Green Isle?
That was just gonna be my same
Now
thing.
that they have a meter on there, I'd like
Okay.
to see that in graph form as
That is
well.
working at this time, correct?
Yes.
Because
Yep,
we
it
need,
is working.
we need to take a look at that. The sooner the better.
Is there another meeting scheduled with Green Isle now, or not yet?
I think we were
We-
shooting for December, something
Okay.
like that,
We wanted to
Back
get some months
a long
of
time
numbers
ago.
at the same time.
right,
Mhm.
so,
Because we have no idea what's coming right now.
Okay,
So
We
when
need
we
to
get
get
some
some data.
numbers, we'll probably,
Yeah. Any more questions on People Services report? Moving on to the next item, the financial report for September. The first page, which was a handout that was provided to you, includes a breakdown of the different accounts and where we are. One of the things that I will call to your attention is the third and fourth item listed there, the Arlington Sewer and the Arlington Green Isle Sewer. If you look at Arlington Sewer, you can see there where we are in the negative. When the state auditor takes a look at those accounts, they are seen as one. So when you look at the Arlington Green Isle Sewer, which has over $500,000 in it, but has very small bills, the two do balance out. So I just wanted to address any concerns that you may have there, that those two accounts, when they're reviewed by the state auditor and when we look at them, we often combine them together. So we really overall are not in the negative when looking at it from a combined perspective. So also moving down, looking at the capital improvement fund, I just wanted to give you a quick heads up that we just received our second billing for the 800 megahertz, so that's an additional 42. I also got word that I believe that is the final cost, so what we had originally anticipated to be about $112,000 cost, I think we're going to be around 88,000-90,000. So very glad to see that we trimmed some costs from what we had originally predicted, but I will keep you updated once that is finalized, but I believe that we are done with payments for that after this one.
and it's not quite up and running yet?
Correct, we are waiting for state approval.
Okay.
Everything is ready to go from my understanding, it's just that the state needs to go through their process of approving, and we're very close to being there, then they'll turn it on at that point.
Okay.
So, moving on, are there any questions on that first page with the balances? If not, we can move on to the second page, which basically this is as of the end of September. So what I've done is I've red flagged any spending amount that is over 75%. As you can see, starting out, the first item, elections, we are at 86% for the year, and that's because when we purchased the elections equipment, it was a one-time fee. So it was a cost that we had to incur because the township elected to do mail balloting, therefore we paid for equipment, and we will have spent a total of $2,760 at year end out of that $3,200 line item budget. The buildings and plants also came in to be at 87%, with 75% of the year gone. That is due to repairs that were done to the EMS building. Moving down to Public Works, where the budget there is at 105%. Significant portion of that was the snow removal costs that were incurred this last year. Next, moving on to economic development, the driving factor causing them to be at 142%, with 75% of the year gone, is that they have done some significant advertising. In the upcoming budget, we will be allocating more money for them to do advertising, and they also had a grant that they were awarded, and so they had $20,000 that was accounted for in a reimbursable expense. Moving on to the next page, looking at the community center, there have been a number of kind of smaller items that have caused the community center expenditures to be higher, only 3% at 78% higher than what we would expect. That includes some of the wages, the insurance, the gas utilities have been higher than expected. We also have had some safety and some other kitchen expenses that have, again, just brought that slightly higher than where we would anticipate it at this time. Moving down to the cemetery, we are having some higher than anticipated expenses there. Part of that is the reimbursement expense. Oftentimes we'll go ahead and we'll purchase markers for the individuals and then receive reimbursement from the individual for that. There have been a number of those that we've experienced, and also we've had some additional legal fees because of some issues that we've been dealing with out there. So then moving down to the enterprise funds, as we talked about earlier, when you combine both the Arlington Green Isle sewer with the Arlington sewer, the numbers all even out and make sense, but if you were to just look at one versus the other, there may be concerns. So putting them together, they both make sense. Lastly, the storm sewer is currently at just 76%, and that's as a result of some engineering costs, some work that we did with Litzau, and then a railroad crossing fee that we had.
Okay, any questions on the financial report? I did have, I'm sorry, going back to the people service, I had a note here that I wrote down earlier today regarding the concerns Mr. Kurt Reitz brought up to the council, which were very legitimate. Are they being addressed?
I believe that they have been, but I will certainly.
Last I remember hearing is from Jason Femright, and it was in regard to the one of the lines that was disturbed or cut off or blocked when the school was built. And he said he needed to see the blueprints or
Yeah,
the
one
plans.
that was abandoned.
Abandoned, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice to know, I guess.
And
I
he
don't-
said he couldn't offer a explanation until he saw the plans to see.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's still in Jason's court or what, but I guess I would like to see each of those concerns that Kurt had, that we could give him assurance that it was being taken seriously. And I don't want him coming back in here next summer and.
I will check with Jason and get back to you
Thank you.
on that. Council members, I just want to quickly walk you through what we have in front of us, which is the CIP progress report from January through October. The CIP is the Conservation Investment Program, being that we own our own electrical system. We are working with MMPA to do different things to ensure that our users are becoming educated and in ways of saving electricity. We have several different initiatives that we're trying to go after, one of which is looking at rebates and trying to get individuals to basically upgrade to more efficient equipment. As you can see, the spending requirement for the city of Arlington is at total CIP spending of $22,785. If you scroll across the line there, you can see that we have achieved that. And one of the things that we've been doing is we oftentimes advertise or make the public aware of different rebates that are available to them. We've been fortunate in that we've had the school that has done a significant lighting project, and we also have had Northland Drying that has done a significant project, in addition to residents who are doing obviously much smaller size projects, but taking steps to replace equipment with more efficient. Then as you look further down, you can see the savings that is resulting from the different changes that are being made by residents. And then if you look over on the right-hand side, you can see the city's low-income spending. We have had some good years in the past where we have done a lot with this. As you can see in 2019, we really haven't done a lot, simply because we've hit kind of the low-hanging fruit. We've gone to some of the low-income housing, we've replaced lights, we've done different things, we've put together energy kits, and that's certainly something that we can consider again next year. But we did not achieve our goal for 2019. As you look there, you can see that a few cities did, but a number of cities did not. So we're continuing to work to improve in that area. As you look at the next page, you can see it kind of broken down by month. You can see the how much the spending is. We have been very fortunate in that oftentimes we use up our rebate dollars as soon as we get them, and oftentimes individuals are having to wait until next year. So if they make an improvement and qualify for a rebate in 2019, what we'll do is we'll take their information and they won't get paid out until we have our money available in 2020. So thank you to the public who's making good use of that program. And if you scroll a couple pages forward, you can see the details by rebate type. The important thing here is just to note that obviously replacing old outdated equipment is a benefit, but there are some items that are much better return on your investment, and that would include, you know, a refrigerator, a freezer, lighting retrofits, and different things like that. So there's a list that shows you how much savings is associated with each item that is being replaced. Are there any questions about this program? We've been very fortunate to work with Kim Lillyblad for a number of years. She is out there meeting with our businesses, meeting with our apartment owners, and trying to come up with new and creative ways to get people to change their past habits and use more efficient equipment. So, any questions from anyone on that? The next next item is just to acknowledge receipt of an award from Compeer Financial. Ambulance manager Sarah Burton had submitted a grant request. She is looking to purchase a refurbished pulse co-oximeter. This will be in the ambulance, and she was able to get one. The total cost of the co-oximeter is $3,400 some. So kudos, good job, Sarah, for going out there and finding grants to help pay for some of the equipment that she needs to have in the ambulance. The next item is a letter from the League of Minnesota Cities, Chief Information Officer, Melissa Reeder. Basically, if you look on the back of that page, it identifies computers that either need to be replaced if they have challenges with being upgraded to Windows 10, or need to simply have an upgrade to Windows 10 because as of January 1st, 2020, Windows 7 will no longer be providing the support and the virus protection that it has been in the past. So what we are looking at for the administration department, and my budget currently is right on target with where it should be. I was hoping that we would have some extra dollars and be able to purchase a couple computers, knowing that our computers are 4 years and older within administration. Thought is that then perhaps we could take a couple of those computers, upgrade them to a Windows 10, and then share those computers with ambulance and with a few other departments that don't have computers that can even be upgraded to Windows 10. So trying to do what we can to prepare for that day when we don't have adequate support and coverage for those computers. So
You should see how much the upgrade to Windows 10 is gonna be. It might not be worth wasting the money and just purchasing.
okay,
Depending on what the ambulance needs or the other departments, they might just need something as simple as a Chromebook,
okay,
which is a couple $100
okay,
and probably less than a Windows 10 upgrade for the old computers.
okay.
We just did, going through that at my work, and we're replacing, because of the license costs for 10 is basically you can buy a whole new computer that's
Right.
faster and
Oh, really?
more compact
Yeah.
and has,
Okay,
It's a waste to just try and upgrade.
okay, okay. Nope, I'm looking at, I reached out to Techstar, but I also, Sourcewell is, kind of a large purchasing consortium, reaching out to them to see what they would have for prices, and I'll shop around and see where we can get the best deals. So. Thank you.
I also sent you a contact
Oh, yeah, yep,
as well.
yep. I'll check in with them. Thanks, Michelle.
Are you done with communications?
I am finally done.
All
yes.
right. Item 8, building maintenance update. Kirby? Good evening.
Good evening. All right. Within the last month, we finally got those trees planted with the school for Arbor Day. Got those in the ground. Was it a dozen, I believe?
I think it's 14.
14 trees.
Yeah.
Planted on the north side of West Main Boulevard, between 7.5 Avenue and 8th Avenue. We've been busy with some kind of minor repairs up at the community center, with urinals and some lighting, and boilers that were giving us trouble for a while. The ice maker was on the fritz. We're good. We have all those things taken care of now. Got some new insulated sleeves on the air conditioning piping outside the building and some things cocked up outside there. Did some fixing up on the fences at Four Seasons Park on the ball field fences. A couple sections were tore up, so we replaced those. We've been busy sweeping leaves, of course, trying to keep up with that, and now we're kind of waiting for the last batch to fall to finish that up. FEMA has been taking up some of our time. Seems like I get quite a few calls almost daily from our representative, trying to keep her on the straight and narrow with all the facts. But it seems like we're really close, from what I can tell, to getting that completely wrapped up. And then it's in FEMA's hands from there. I got Bainey Construction lined up to get a mini excavator in and dig out our stormwater outlet that goes to the creek off of 4th Avenue Northeast, kind of down in the flood plain down in there. We have just sediment buildup and sticks and stuff like that, that I just want to get that opened up so we don't have that outlet freeze up like we had last year and cause problems for some apartment buildings over there. Also, we're gonna get out to the north holding pond, stormwater holding pond, and dig out the inlet there, and then take a look at the outlet, see if we can do anything with that, make sure everything is clean there. I have American Environmental on the hook to get here either this week or next week to televise all the stormwater piping around that north pond over there where the streets flood so bad. So we'll get a better idea what's going on there. Had a few curbs replaced that we've been waiting for. With that, we'll have some hot patching yet with that. And then pretty much our road repair is wrapped up for the year. We had some fixes to do on the sweeper, minor things to just keep that going tip top. Mike has been trimming some branches on our boulevards that hit equipment, snowplow equipment, and our sweeper. Yeah, he's been busy up here at the community center. It's been a really busy fall, cleaning and setting up for weddings and events. We winterized our parks, got all the water shut off and things blown out that had to be blown out. Got all the winter equipment ready, so we're ready for the first snow. And I'm also working on getting a yard water hydrant put into Memorial Park yet this year with the parks budget, which we can finally get into the park to do that, and there's plenty of room in the parks budget to get that done yet. So hopefully we can knock that out for the flower club who wants to continue on their beautiful flower beds they're putting in our park there. It's getting too far for them to drag all that hose all the way across the park, so if we want to continue on with their flower beds, it's kind of necessary to get a hydrant in there. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of things.
This question came up earlier from Councilmember Batcher, based on the inventory that was done of all the reflectivity of the street signs. This was done about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yep.
Have they all been replaced and brought
Yep.
it?
Yes.
All the new signs are up, all the old ones are down. All right.
Correct. Yeah.
Good.
Unless you've seen a couple.
No, not.
Yeah, I worked on that. What was that? Last fall or the spring?
Okay,
Yeah, we got that wrapped up.
good.
So there's money in the budget for street signs for around the parks yet? So that hasn't been done yet?
Not this year. I mean,
For
our
next
budget is
year's.
blown, but it's on the
next
docket
year?
for. We can do that next year. Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
was just curious, so that hadn't been done yet? So
It
that's
hasn't
the
been
only
done yet.
thing-
No.
Only thing yet?
No.
I know another area that Chief John had brought to our attention is that on Clinton Street, the one that's just being finished up now, I think there's 2 uncontrolled intersections.
There is. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yield signs probably would be it.
Okay.
Yield or stop signs, whatever.
Yeah.
That's something you may want to talk to John about.
Okay. Does something like that go through council, like approval, or?
I don't know.
I think when John came, we kind of just said whatever you think is the best.
I
Okay,
think it was John and Kirby talk and get it done.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever John thinks is the best
Yep.
place
Yeah.
to put whatever.
I think you're correct, yeah.
And if there's any other streets, intersections that are,
I think there's probably only one other one in town. There've just been a few. It's over,
it's in that
So my
southeast
guidance
quadrant,
house.
I think, yeah.
it's over by Geib's house, I think.
Oh,
there's
over
one.
there,
Yeah.
yeah.
But-
I think you're right,
So,
okay. Okay,
did we ever get the blower back with the tires, new tires
Yep.
on it?
yes, we got that back,
Okay,
yep, they look sturdy.
good,
Pretty heavy duty,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it should work good.
Okay.
Uh-huh. I gotta get that out yet and get them adjusted right before we blow, but yeah, they're ready to, came back on Monday.
did
So,
they show you how to do all that and everything, or?
It's just caster wheels.
Oh.
You just wind it down and then
Sure.
go test
Set
it
'em.
out. Yep. Yep, yeah, so it's pretty user friendly and everything, so.
Good.
Yeah, that should work. It looks like it'll work good.
Kirby, we had some discussion earlier tonight. Do you, and we were talking a lot about thermostats and programmable thermostats, do you know what we do at the fire hall, with regards to temperatures and heating that?
At the fire hall?
Well, all of our buildings really.
Yeah, well, yeah, at all of our buildings, but we were asking specifically about the fire department and their,
I don't know anything about the fire department.
okay.
I can't get in there.
they won't let you
They
in.
won't let me in there. They take care of that stuff.
Or you
Okay.
could sign up.
So you don't know if, do you know if that we have programmable thermostats in our other
firefighter.
buildings?
Like the Lions.
Programmable Lions there is.
Is it programmed for off hours?
Well, it should better be, yeah. For off hours?
Well, I mean, so you'd have
I mean, it's
a
kinda up
rollback,
to-
so
Yeah, I don't
typical time that it would be inhabited and then non-inhabited.
think that's all manual, that one.
Is it,
Yeah.
you should have, day and evening, or nights, whatever.
I'll check into that.
Days of the week?
How about
days
where
of
the
the week.
museum is? Is there anything in there for programmable or?
I think that's the dial one yet, but I'll check on this, yeah.
No, because we were thinking of putting one in there.
Oh, okay.
I was just wondering if there was one in there.
I rarely have to monkey with that stuff. It's the people
Well, we
who-
put a programmable and change it, then nobody has to monkey with it.
Right.
It's usually the people in the
Set.
buildings, yeah.
And I guess another thing that got brought up was the upstairs of that old fire hall. What that looks like,
Okay.
if there's any insulation up in that ceiling.
It's always cold every time I'm up there. I don't know. I mean, not freezing, but it's not,
Close to
not
it.
heated. It doesn't feel like it's heated, but, I mean, yeah, okay. Checking all that.
Another issue, Kirby, we were talking about tanks and we rent tanks, this, settling tanks. Is that something, how many tanks do we have? Or
One
just one?
One.
that I know of in our shop.
Okay.
I don't know if the fire department has any. I don't know.
Then it's not worth fooling with.
That's not
One or
worth-
two
okay.
tanks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on your.
What'd you wanna do with that?
Well, you can buy your own tanks and fill them and not pay that outrageous rental.
Oh, the rental fee.
Because that's not cheap.
Yeah, I don't even know.
The
400 to
tank-
500 for 10.
I don't even know. I thought of that the other day. I'm like, I don't know what to do when this thing runs out.
Well, what
There's
rent-
So you don't use
Be
it
a
a lot.
settling tank. I don't know where we got it or if we
Okay.
rent it. I don't know.
Probably Dick Thomas. Well, if the city owns it, they're getting a rental bill every so many years to pay for it.
Okay.
If they're not getting a rental bill, and that's probably either every 5 or 10 years.
Okay.
If they're not, then it's city owned.
Okay.
The
So I
place
can
in-
check with Lisa.
Over in Gaylord, I have my tank through them. I don't get a bill, but if I go to exchange it, then they'll.
You just get an exchange.
Yeah. But they'll say, oh, your lease, pay it at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we so rarely use it.
Yeah, that's
We don't do a lot of welding.
I thought if they had 7, 8 tanks, the city would be better off buying their tanks.
No, gosh.
But if they
We've
only have
used
1 or
it.
2, it's not worth it.
We've maybe used it since I've been here 10 times. I mean, it's minimal. Minimal, so yeah.
Okay, anything else for Kirby? All right.
Okay, well, I'll
Thank
check
you.
in on those thermostats, yeah, making sure if we can set those to, like occupied, unoccupied, pretty much. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Alright,
Thank you.
thank you.
Oh, are we gonna ask them about that little building down there?
Oh, on, the corner of, was it Second
Baker.
Avenue and Baker? That brick
The
building?
well shed,
What's contained therein and
that's
what?
that's the pump for the water tower.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Is that in
And-
good shape?
Is the building in
Looks
good
like it
shape?
is. That's how it's pumping.
No, I mean the building,
building.
The building,
like the roof for the door or the walls. do we-
I know the
I haven't
doors.
been on the roof, but, I mean, seems solid yet.
We were just wondering for me.
Unless you know something to the contrary, but I haven't
No,
went real hardcore inspection on it, but I always thought it looked pretty good. There's no leaks, it's never wet,
okay,
so. We got all the Christmas stuff in there and signs and
okay.
So you'll
odds
see
and
some-
ends, parks, some park
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So,
By the way, the trees along the west side of it are really in bad shape.
yeah.
You've noticed that?
Oh, those
When we
ash-
did,
those ash
when we
trees?
did inventory, I thought those have to
Those are
come down.
brutal. Yeah,
Yeah, they really are
they
bad.
got power lines running through them.
Yeah, yeah. Good luck
On
with
the
that.
docket for next year,
Okay,
there'd be good candidates,
alright.
so,
Okay, thanks
All right.
Kirby.
thank you.
Thanks, Kirby.
Move on to ordinances, item number 9, second reading of ordinance 327.
Council members, I wanted to just bring to your attention that I've had some discussion about this, ordinance number 327, in light of the fact that, the EDA director, Amy Newsom, has expressed some concern. She sent me an email, indicating that she's concerned because right now she's trying to sell various places, including the Quick Shop. And that if we are putting a moratorium on establishment of businesses selling tobacco, tobacco-related devices, and electronic delivery devices, and nicotine and lobelia delivery products, she feels that that's going to kind of hamper her ability to sell that property. I think that our intent, and I wish I would have had a chance to speak with Chief Pedersen today. I didn't. I know that he did try calling me in the afternoon and I wasn't available at the time. But I have talked a little bit with Ross, and our intent is not, I don't believe the intent of the council or the intent of this ordinance is to restrict somebody who is currently selling cigarettes or, you know, a tobacco chew or something like that, to take that away from them. The intent really is to prevent somebody from coming to town who's going to be selling devices that can be used for drug paraphernalia, and more of the vaping type things. And specifically, the vaping is those selling vaping items to children, or I shouldn't say children, or young adults between the ages of 18 and 21, which is the whole intent behind the T21 proposal. So in talking with Ross, you know, he said, well, it's really up to the council. There are several options I think that you have to do. You could simply choose not to go forward with the second reading, and you could, you know, ask John to work on bringing forward a T21 policy for adoption by the council. Another option is to basically maybe tweak this a little bit so as to clarify that it's the businesses that are selling the electronic delivery services and nicotine and lobelia delivery products. Or you could just choose to simply table this without specifying a date. And if it comes up again, it comes up again. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So those are just several options that you have available. Again, with the concern that we don't want this to impact the sale of the business in town, not knowing if it will or will not impact that, but just wanting to play it safe.
But this resolution or ordinance, excuse me, would not be restricting a potential gas station, what, a grocery, whatever were to go in there, from selling cigarettes,
Yeah, well,
or, oh, it would?
This would,
Well,
Oh, well, that part probably has to need to be removed.
right.
We can still go with the vaping and all the other delivery devices, but remove, I could see where that would be a concern.
Yeah, but on the same token, if somebody buys Quick Shop and Cenex can sell the stuff because they're a current business,
Yeah.
and someone who buys Quick Shop can't because they're a new business, that's not
That's not right.
that's not right either.
Correct.
So yeah,
But-
I think we probably
We'd have to eliminate one line in there to eliminate the restriction of tobacco products. We could still leave with the vaping and all the other stuff.
I think it
but
might,
if one place can
but-
still do it, then because
Okay.
we're not telling the current businesses they can't.
Well, we can't.
We can't. So
Well, no,
Are
they
they-
don't,
are
they
they
don't sell
selling
any.
it?
I don't know. I guess
No, I don't think the
never
gas-
looked for it.
I don't believe the gas
I don't
station
think
does.
they are.
Well, they sell cigarettes.
They sell cigarettes.
Vaping things,
We sent them to, when we had Quick Shop, we sent them to Cenex because we didn't sell it.
like,
At, Quick Trip, we didn't have it there, but Cenex did.
so like what kind of things, like
They have the, one, the little small one that you see
jewel
on
or
TCS,
something?
and I'm not sure, I know the dollar store has got a lot of that kind of stuff. Don't know for sure what they all have, but I think you better take a look at that before you.
Well, I don't think we can't restrict them. They already have it.
And I
Right.
think you get in the agreement what you're saying, you can't start a new business.
Yep.
You're gonna limit what can come in here.
I think it might be wise to table this until
I
further
would-
work is
I
done on
agree
it.
too, yeah.
So-
I'll make a motion to table this.
Second.
At least check what the other two are doing before you make it further.
Motion by Councilmember Hattlestead, second by Councilmember Cowell, to table this second reading of ordinance 327 to a future date, not specified. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried, the item is tabled. Resolution 60-2019 is dealing with the same topic.
motion to table.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Batcher, Wood second.
You did it first.
Right over there.
Who are you giving it to?
Gilman. Motion by Councilmember Batcher, second by Councilmember Gilman, to table the resolution 60-2019 to a future date, not specified. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
I should just mention in looking back too, I did receive a call from Wendell Turlinden expressing some concern about that as well.
Good. Okay, unfinished business, update and repairs of fire trucks, failed pump tests.
Council members, I've shared this information with you before. Fire Chief John Zaski has been working with some individuals and has given me an update. He has indicated to me that this time he needs to move ahead with conducting some of the repairs. Fortunately, what we were initially provided was a cost of about $20,000, but in working with some of the firefighters and some of the different businesses that are working with them, he has been able to bring that cost down to about $10,000. The quote is from Emergency Apparatus Maintenance. Because this equipment is so unique and specialized, he's not able to get a large number of quotes for repairs to this, and at this time, he would like the council to just approve his spending $10,000, which he has within his existing budget, to make the repairs to those fire trucks that have not passed the pumper test.
I'll make a motion to approve, Chief Zaski's spending on the failed pump for the fire trucks.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Cowell to approve the expenditure of, is it $10,000?
No, it's around, so I don't.
It's
Around.
around.
She
I
didn't
didn't-
use a number.
I didn't
Okay,
use the
just,
number.
okay.
Whatever it is, ends up being, it ends up.
Authorized repair of the
Around.
fire trucks that failed the pump tests.
Yeah, they gotta be fixed.
No number specified. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. New business, item 12, approve, deny revised snow removal rates.
In your packet was included a listing of the snow removal rates. The city was taking a look at the cost that it incurs and having our building maintenance supervisor and a staff person out there loading up the snow, hauling it away. We're looking at the hourly cost of the employees, but then also looking at the rental of the equipment. And we came to realize that there have been some recent changes, specifically to the Sibley East parking lots, which has really increased the amount of work, which is becoming overly burdensome on the maintenance department. With that in mind, the committee met and talked about this. The committee then suggested that we go back and take a look at a square footage cost. On the left-hand side, you can see what the current rate is. There's several different categories: small, medium, large, and extra large, as well as gigantic. And the prices range from $10 all the way up to $125.
$15, right? Oh.
There's
current
some that
charge,
are 10.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yep.
And the proposal is that number, those rates be increased to, again, more accurately reflect the amount of time and effort that our building maintenance is putting into it. So the proposed rates now will range from $15 all the way up to $1,200 for Kirby and Mike, the rental of equipment and trucks, and hauling the snow outside of town. So this has been floated by the Sibley School because it will have the most significant impact on them, and we would like to get your approval here tonight so that we can start to make others aware of this increase, which is scheduled to, if you approve it, would be scheduled to go effective January 1st, 2020.
And with the rates that we're charging, we're making no money.
Oh,
It's just simply, at a minimum, covering the city's costs for manpower, equipment, fuel,
The-
everything.
The proposed cost,
Correct.
yes,
Yeah.
And the school was notified of this, correct?
yes.
Correct.
So they haven't made a decision whether they're going to put it out for bids or just go with us, or?
I think they're gonna try and push it onto their own property, like St. Paul's parking lot, they always used to push it to the east
Yeah.
on the gravel parking lot, and then
Oh.
the north parking lot, I think they're gonna try and
Right.
stockpile it as much as they can. The only thing in here is you have Sibley East as like one whole thing. Can we like break that down to each of their parking lots and put them in the category or whatever, and then that way, or wherever they fall in, that way if they want like their north parking lot to be
Cleaned or?
clean, then they have an idea what that's gonna be instead of just having it all lumped together.
I'm sure I could bring that up. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
Because
I
I
don't-
mean,
As long as, I mean, I don't think we should want, like, this time we're gonna do the north side, next time maybe just do the south side, I think it'd be something where we do it every time.
Yeah,
know what
if
I
you
mean?
want the north done, we're gonna do it every time this winter. Every
Yes.
time it snows, we're not gonna call the school.
To see what
Which
they want
lots would
done.
you like done this trip? I would
Right.
agree. It's
Yeah.
gonna be an annual thing.
but there's occasional ones on our list though too, so why can't certain lots of theirs be occasional as well? I mean, it's only playing fair. unless we're gonna tell those 7 businesses that they have to do it every time. You know, I mean,
I guess you may be asking, you know, is there ever going to be an instance where they don't want all their lots plowed?
I don't know, but I mean, if
Yeah.
you give them the option, I mean, that's only playing fair. That's what we're doing with other other businesses in town. That's my only, I think the rates are fair, I just think that that one should be broken down into lots. Cause there's no other businesses on here that have multiple lots or whatever, that are combined. They're separated.
I wouldn't have a problem doing that. The only thing I envision is it's gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
And Kirby will be, I wonder what I'm supposed to clean, or
Which
somebody
one this
can't get
time?
hold of somebody, and it's gonna, I mean, this
Well,
isn't a money-making deal for
A
the
Saturday
city.
or Sunday or
So
something
this
like
is
that.
just removing the snow once they've piled it up? Is that
Yeah,
what it
so
is?
they kinda have their own contractors, each of these businesses have their own contractors, and what they do is they push it out into the street, and then
Yeah.
Kirby comes by and collects it, and then hauls it away.
Yeah, I don't.
But they're gonna, you know, depending on the winter, they're only gonna be able to stockpile so much in the parking lots, and last year wouldn't have worked.
Right.
Well, they're gonna lose too much parking space.
Well, I mean, depending on the parking lot, I don't know how they can stockpile on the south side.
No, they can't.
They're probably always gonna have to plow that out.
Yep.
But on the north side, they have a huge area that they could stockpile it. The St. Paul's parking lot, they have a huge place, and they always used to stockpile it over there or whatever too. So, I mean, there's probably at least 2 of their lots that they're gonna be able to stockpile.
South one, they'll be able to pile it in that little ditch, they'll fill that up.
Yeah, that.
But
won't
there's
take-
not a lot of room between that and
No.
the sidewalk, is there?
But on the north side, there's a lot of space there.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, or whatever, I can see them pushing and stockpiling in those 2 lots, but maybe not in the other one. I don't know.
And I think if they do stockpile, and they say, okay, well, we stockpiled as much as we can, let's get out of there, it's not going to be whatever that fee is to haul all that away, it's going to
It'll
be
be an
basically,
Hourly fee.
yeah, time and labor and equipment.
Well, I can't imagine we really wanna do that. I mean,
Well,
there's
no,
these
they would
other places that
contract.
would do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody else is gonna do that. No contractor's going to do that.
Take that away.
No, I mean, just come on a whenever, well, when you call, we'll come, or we won't come, or they have schedules, they can't do stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know, I get what you're saying, that it's not fair, but I think it's different than everybody else. I think everybody else is, on there is really, really occasional. I mean, I don't think and they're smaller. You know, I think, and for their purposes too, I would imagine they'd wanna budget, they wanna know what they're doing, you know, and they're not gonna wanna change course halfway through the year or something like that.
It would be difficult for their budget.
Yeah, I mean, if you're plowing your lot, you know what it's gonna cost you every time.
That's not for plowing the lot though.
Well,
Clean
But
it,
that's
snow.
just, well,
it's
I
plowing the
mean,
lot
it's
into the
part
road.
of it, because
Right.
we don't plow their lots.
oh, I know, but it's
Clean
still,
up
they're
snow
putting
from
it
the
into
Part
the,
of it.
it's
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
So if the business is on the list, do they do it every snowfall?
Not all of them, there's occasional ones.
So
Uh,
there's
the
some
top-
that don't.
The top
Ones
ones
too.
are, at least in the past, have been, you know, they commit for a winter and that's what they do for a winter. The ones listed on the bottom under occasional, those are the ones which are calling them up and, you know, saying, could you do it this time or not? I mean, they're smaller to the point where Kirby and Mike can work it into their schedule if they get a call.
I guess for me, being that we're kinda in a, I don't know, time crunch for this, I mean, I think I'll make a motion to approve the revised snow removal rates effective January 1.
Okay, is there a
And,
second? Oh, sorry.
yeah, and if we can look into breaking that up, I guess, for the future. Or,
I'll second that.
Motion by Councilmember Cowell, second by Councilmember Hattlestead to approve the revised snow removal rates effective January 1st, based on the handout or the chart that we have in front of us. Any further discussion?
All that I'd like to say is that if we can make it a point to look at those lots and divide them out for that school, then I'm all on board. I think that's fair. I think the schedule needs to be upgraded because it hasn't been upgraded in
Right,
10+ years.
yeah.
So I can't go against upgrading it, but I am strongly saying that we need to look at that.
Well,
Right.
can't we look at that, and if, I have no problem with them saying these 2 lots, we'll take care of them ourselves, that's
Right.
fine.
Well, do we know for a fact what the school wants? I mean, can we find that out first?
Well, I already said, like the north side, I know they're gonna stockpile. The, church parking lots, they're gonna stockpile.
So they've actually
used
said
to
this,
always-
this is their plan?
Yeah,
Okay.
when we were in that meeting, they talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess
With
we
that
maybe should
furniture.
ask them. I mean, I think we just need to get notice out to these businesses now, and if we change it
Right.
from now to
We're in
January.
almost the middle of November, we're
Right.
throwing this out late enough the way
Yeah,
it
and
is.
if we change this between now and January, I guess I'm okay with that.
If we have to make
but
an
just-
exception for the school,
Well, it's not making an exception, it's just doing what parking lot when.
Well-
And that's my only thing. Otherwise, I think the prices are fair.
If this gets approved tonight and there's a revision on the school property, plowing for that, that can be changed in a separate action.
I agree.
So. Okay, any other discussion? Again, motion by Cowell, second by Hattlestead to approve the revised snow removal rates effective January 1, 2020. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item 13, approve, deny partial pay estimate number 5, I should say, from William Miller and Sons.
Council members, this is another pay estimate. We have just today received a signed copy from William Mueller and Sons, so you've got the green light to go ahead and to approve this payment. So they have been making good progress, and I believe that they are very close to being
They're done.
done.
They
Right.
were collecting the trays that were in the wastewater inlets today, so yeah. they're done.
Looks complete.
So if somebody would like to go out and walk the project and sees anything that is of concern, they're certainly welcome to bring that up. I know that some of the seating was dormant, and
All of the seating was dormant.
all of it, okay,
All of it,
all
yep.
of it was dormant, so we'll see how that comes back in the spring, and hopefully that'll be to your satisfaction.
So this is, all the payments, Jason, I seen sign off on it saying that that was right. We are still retaining some funds, correct?
5%.
Okay.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve partial payment, number 5, in the amount of $314,400.81.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Gilman to approve the pay estimate number 5 from William Mueller and Sons, Inc. in the amount of $314,400.81 for work on the 2019 street and utility improvement project. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion, opposed, no. Motion carried. So they're finishing up about 10 days before their deadline.
Nice.
Perfect. With this weather year,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Absolutely, they did a heck of a job.
yeah. Especially compared to the, 2 years ago when it was
Agreed.
about the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
And look what happened then, and look at the job they did this
Right.
year.
I was nervous they won't get done.
And I will tell you, I don't have a lot of experience being with all the road projects, but it went very smoothly. I think we had a couple challenges, 2 to be exact. And the fact that Alec was out here, he fielded a lot of the calls and questions. And everything just went very, very smooth, so it was a good project.
Okay, item number 14, council member committee updates.
Cemetery committee, that's the main thing we talked about, which maybe making a policy for, putting a marker on a grave or like a family plot where they might not use all the plots. So putting like a family type marker that's consistent with the way the rest of the cemetery looks. So I think that'll be coming here eventually, but that was about it for that.
Short meeting that
Yeah, it
night,
was.
huh? We had an EDA meeting, a special meeting, about the purchase agreement with Hemphaven and, City of Arlington EDA, and that passed. How many people are on there? 7? It passed 6-1. Dependent on development agreement, that was the main thing I think people were talking about.
Does that come here, or is that just done?
The development
Yeah,
agreement?
The whole thing comes
The whole
here.
thing comes here. Well, the purchase agreement
Purchase
though
agreement
does
does
not.
not.
Purchase agreement's a done deal with the
But the
EDA.
purchase,
Yeah, but that's not signed until the development agreement is
The
done.
development agreement still has to be done
Yeah.
first.
that's where the
before it comes
details
to the
are, is the
council.
development agreement.
Yep, and I think the purchase agreement is hinging on the development agreement,
Correct.
is how the motion was made.
Okay.
So, and that's to be worked out in the next couple of months or something, huh? Month and a half.
I went to the Historical Society meeting this morning, and there are a few items on the building that the city owns and they occupy. One of them is the big door that faces Main Street, that's like a garage door. That's starting to rot at the bottom, so, they're looking at, how much should they fix it and still, or how should they fix it but still qualify for, to be on the historic building register. So they're toying with that, and that'll be a small cost to the city to fix that door, the bottom part, which is rotting. Also, it's been discovered that the fiberglass fireman way up on top is losing paint. The paint is peeling off. So that was an item that when they restored the building, they took the original metal one off of the top. They had a fiberglass copy made of it, and then put the metal one inside so the weather wouldn't ruin it completely. I don't know how many years ago was that one? Has that been 10 years already?
It's been a while.
Maybe not, maybe it's been 10 years. But now the paint is coming off it, so that's gonna have to be repainted, which is quite a job, because it's way up on the top of the roof. And somebody suggested maybe getting the same company that painted the helicopter at the Memorial Park, and maybe they could get up there with their boom truck to take it down, prep it and paint it and put it back up again, so. Again, that would be a city expense also, but that isn't something that they said that would be done right away. It's just that it's in the future, near future. So,
Fire Chief Zaski stopped in, provided me with some applications. If I recall in the past, we've interviewed people for different positions within the fire department, so. Was that with the Employee Relations Committee that we did that?
It was the fire committee.
Or the
Fire
fire committee? Okay. So, if we can maybe get some available dates, I know.
Should have some input on the questions, please.
Sure, yep. Yep. So,
Multiple people want the positions.
yes, I grabbed the folder, but I didn't see,
Okay,
there
that's
was
good.
multiple people for at least one of the positions.
It's
I
good you
think
have
they have
interest.
a total of three positions, two or three that they
Mhm.
decide on. So I will get a summary out to each of you, well, to the committee.
yep, whoever on that
Uh,
committee.
So, let you know who those people are and see when we can pick a time to sit down and invite those individuals to come in and talk about it, so.
So the parks meeting, I think there was a sort of some concern on the pavement leading up to, is it Sportsman's? Is it Sportsman's Park, or Four Seasons? Four Seasons, and
Oh,
That's
yes,
been brought
yes,
up.
yes.
that was really the main topic, I guess, and they were going over the budget as well, so.
Police committee, nothing. Cable commission, nothing. Slow month.
Good morning.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that is okay.
Update in Northland, or is there anything to update? No? Okay. All right, anything else?
Yes, do we, under the open discussion,
Yeah.
do we, I think we discussed this a little earlier, do we wanna take another look at that rate study done and the increases for those 17 businesses in 2020? We have some upset and some very upset business owners over this. I think at a minimum, we should take another look at it.
I've had a few people stop in and talk with me about it
Yeah.
too, and,
We got some not happy people, business owners.
you know,
Is there a list of, you know, that was listing 25 KW or above, and where people are at? Is that, are we able to look at that, or? Because what I saw on the chart was only 3
cannabis.
businesses, and it seemed like maybe they were getting the blunt of it. 25 KW is not really that much. In my work, we use 4,000 to 9,000 KW per month,
Yeah.
and our rates are less than what I saw on there from the leaseor that was in the proposal.
I got a list, and I don't know where I got it, but I've got it at home. It has 17 businesses on there. They're gonna get a rather more increase than they care for.
Yeah.
There were 17 of them. I don't remember them all, like I say, I know that there was, but I can bring that if we discuss that again.
So with demand charges, it's I don't know what ours is, but if there's is it 15 minutes, you know? So peak demand is, say, in this building, if we fired up every motor that was in here and turned all the lights on within 15 minutes, that's where your demand charge is, and that carries the whole entire month. So what we do is we try to stage when we're starting and stopping things, and we have 6 different services. So on our compressors, you know, if I started all 3 compressors, it'd be like 1,200 horsepower. We try not to do that because we would pay that demand charge the entire month. So the businesses, some of it's in their control. If they can, you know, if they start up one unit and wait a little longer before firing the next one, you don't get as much of an inrush and not quite as high of a demand for basically the whole entire month. And you pay that demand charge on the KW, then you pay the kilowatt hour on your actual usage.
But for like the grocery store, they have all the compressors running, they run 24/7.
Well,
They don't have that option.
no, but the demand is based on your within a 15-minute for the entire month. So whenever things are cycled on, if it's within 15 minutes, that's what's going to set their total demand, and that's what they pay. So there is things that people can do to lower what the demand is.
But at the same time, the city, if the purpose of this was to build up that enterprise fund, we could, and I'm not saying drop the rates, this or that, but we could maybe extend that 2 years out to 4 years instead of just doubling the fee over last year, because it's almost doubling the fee. And it was doubled last year.
So they will know that it's gonna end up at that same level.
But let's be a little more gentle how
But
we
just
do this.
Phase them in gradually.
Yeah, it's all it's gonna do is take us 2 or 3 more years to get to the same point, but at least kind of being a little gentle on them. I
I guess
don't, like I said,
why is it solely being put on them? Just because we
There's
don't
this-
have a big user to.
Well, and we were talking about earlier, you know, that what happened was we lost Seneca Foods at about the same time. I mean, our bonds that are used to secure, we have to provide a certain amount of revenue coming in to secure that bond. We've had calls from a number of different individuals, and Shannon Sweeney, our finance consultant, has brought to our attention that we did need to make an increase. How we made the increase, that was through working with Avant. They were our consultants who came in, and so they, you know, took a look at our situation and put together a game plan to get us back to where we're actually able to set aside some funds to deal with repairs and different issues that are coming. So could we push that out, you know, a little further and not get back into the green as quickly? Sure, we could, if that would be easier on residents. Obviously, what we should have done from the very start is just done more incremental, you know,
Yeah.
instead
All
of,
the way along.
There was many years without any adjustments, so
Yeah.
that's where
So I think if we look at
we catch ourselves.
making changes, we need to keep Shannon Sweeney in mind too, and making sure that if we stretch it out so it's too lean in the early years, we aren't getting to where we need to get for the bonding. part of it.
Right.
You know, we need to look
But
at
I
that.
think
And
we
is
need
the
to
point we're trying to get to going to remain the same, or are we?
No,
So,
Are we chasing a moving target, in
right,
other words?
exactly.
So,
and I know this is probably not the time to bring this up, but we will be looking to increase our stormwater fees because of the project, the 2019 street improvement project has a portion of its cost allocated to stormwater fees, and we're not able to currently sustain that. I believe it's at $9, the recommendation from Shannon is that increase to $18. So,
yeah, I think that street project this year is draining over 100 acres, goes through that new pipe that's put in, so it's a good share of the city. Okay, well, take another look at the Avant study and, need to, everyone has a copy of that? Was that in an email?
Whoever you sent.
You sent out?
yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, I did.
okay,
I did. So,
and then go from there.
is that something that you'd like to have on the next council?
Well, I think if you can get a opinion from Shannon Sweeney before that.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna need
Yeah.
that.
okay.
Yeah,
I mean, there was, I can't remember now, there was obviously reasons why we did what we did.
Yeah,
You know, cause
yeah.
it was their proposal and it was based off of rates from all these other different places, so,
Right,
but
right.
I can't remember all that.
yeah, I didn't look at mine today either, but I know
Well,
it
we-
made sense at the time.
we weren't at the top either,
No,
and we
no,
weren't at the, we were right in the middle.
In the middle.
Trying to be as gentle as we possibly could be. Now, could there be some more adjustment between residential and businesses? Businesses are taking more of the brunt than the residentials.
That's kinda what it looks like.
Well, okay, but, I mean, that's when
Yeah.
we made.
Not
the
that I
call to-
want my rates to go up,
No,
but I want it fair.
right,
Well, there's not that many high users
anyway.
For residential?
within,
No.
No.
within the city.
No, the residential rate went up a little bit, but it was minimal.
Okay, everyone taking a closer look at that? And I suppose if we'd want a copy printed out, we could make that request to the city office.
Certainly, yep, and, we've been, individuals that we've been talking to on the phone or that have stopped in to chat with us, we have been making sure that they get a copy of that, because it does show where we are relative to others, for
Yeah, I mean,
electrical rates, but,
they're looking at a 50%, basically doubling their,
Yep.
their electrical. so
Back-to-back years.
Yeah, that's
tough.
That's an increase.
a
Yeah, but
pretty major.
Were they aware though, the whole pay schedule was sent out last year when the first increase happened, wasn't it?
I have no idea what was sent out.
Yeah, we tried to, we had it in the newsletter, we did a lot to try and
Yeah,
promote the fact
yeah.
that
It's a 2-year
rates were
increase.
increasing and,
So they were aware, just
They were
now
aware.
it's coming on November, or we're at November now and it's coming more real.
Okay, anything else?
No, I was gonna make a motion to adjourn.
You were. Well,
Hey,
I will
wasn't
put that-
me.
I'll put that down. Motion by Councilmember Hattlestead, second by Councilmember Crowell to adjourn the meeting. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Meeting adjourned at 8:12. Seems like longer, seems like it should be later than that.
Seems like it's 9:12.
Yeah, it's 9:12.
Well, we've been out earlier than 8:12?
Yes.
This isn't the EDA, this is the council.
Joe, can you reach that clock? Would you try it?
You're taller than I am.
Seems to
We
me.
had a meeting that was, what, 40 minutes long?
Oh,
we had-
yeah, I think we had one shorter, yeah. And it wasn't a special one either.
No.
It was special to me.
I remember a 22-minute meeting, but
Was it that?
I think so. I'm not gonna look it up though.
Oh, attaboy, look at that.
Thanks, Joe.
There we go. Thank you.
Can we rent you in the community center here to fix some of the ceiling tiles in the larger rooms?
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
You don't have,
That's just it, you don't have to buy
Yeah.
them a ladder, you can do it.
I don't have any trees on my.
Yeah. You could do it all.
Just gotta let you know.
I'm gonna bring mine in tomorrow when I come in to sign checks.
They gave
Okay,
us,
okay.
That is Michelle's.
Yep, sounds good.